Welcome, everybody. My name is Carla, and I am one of the admissions counselors here that works with Canadian students at Florida Southern College in partly cloudy Lakeland, Florida, but normally sunny. And I'll let Coach introduce herself.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Coach Crowder. I'm the assistant volleyball coach for the women's indoor volleyball team here. I'm going year 3 at being at Florida Southern College, and I absolutely love it here.
What we're just going to review today is how to promote yourself, along with a little bit of information about Florida Southern. So, for those of us that may not have had the opportunity yet to visit Lakeland, Florida, Florida Southern College is one of the oldest colleges around. We've been around since 1883 here, and we are considered a small private liberal arts school. And what that means is that across the nation, there's different types of universities that have different class sizes, and some of them may be 40, 50,000, but we're at 3,500 this year, which is more friends than I have on social media, but definitely consider ourselves a smaller private school. Average class size is about 18 students. I say small but mighty. So with that, we have over 100 different clubs and organizations, over 70 different majors to choose from. We do research with our science students, and we are champions, NCAA Division II national championships. We've gotten 30 of those awards. Real quick thing about Florida Southern is that we offer 3 guarantees. You're going to be able to study abroad. That's included in your tuition at little to no cost. We like alliteration, so we call it Junior Journey. And you're able to, around your 3rd year, do a study abroad trip. You will also be guaranteed an internship. That's really important when you're looking to continue your education further or go into the work field. They want to know if you were able to apply what you're learning out there and were able to combine that with your studies. And then we do a 4-year graduation. The national average right now is about 5 years to graduate, and we guarantee that your bachelor's degree, which is supposed to be done in 4 years, will be done in 4 years. If not, we cover the rest of your tuition. So we are not kidding with this stuff. We don't want to pay for that either, so we'll make sure that you graduate on time. Just so that you know a little bit about Florida Southern. But I will leave it to Coach to talk about how to promote yourself.
Yes, thank you so much. So on behalf of, athletics, not just specifically volleyball, but athletics, I know a lot of us coaches get 30 to 40 to 50, recruiting emails a day. And one of the biggest things is when you've made a decision that you want to become, potentially a college athlete and you want to get yourself out there, I would highly encourage to send, emails, but be efficient with your emails. So when I say that, I mean the information you're providing with us, when it drops into our inbox, starting from the subject line, it says your name. The most important thing I think is your grad year. Because there is rules per NCAA that we can't contact you back if you're within a certain year. So go ahead and put your name in, your graduation year, and then maybe even sometimes your position for that sport that you're referring to. So for volleyball, if you're an outside hitter or a libero or a setter, etc. So, and then in your actual message, short and sweet is best for me. Like I say, I get 30 to 40 a day, and that's a lot to read through. And as much as I want to know a lot of things about you and your favorite hobbies, just be efficient with, why you're seeking us out as far as specifically like with Florida Southern, what draws you to this school. And then go ahead and maybe talk a little bit about your high school season, if you've already had that or if it's coming up. And then if you play like a travel or club type sport, put information in about that. And then the next biggest thing, and I can't emphasize this enough, is to send any game film or highlight film you may have, because that just allows me to save so much time to not have to type your name into Google, search you, make sure I find the right person in the right film. So if you provide that information in that email, that definitely saves coaches lots of time. And we are very grateful for when athletes do that for us. The other thing about how to promote yourself is camps. I know us speaking specifically here at volleyball at Florida Southern, we do camps usually in a non-COVID normal year in June and into July. And that is one of our biggest recruiting tools also. So if there's a school that you catches your attention, or if it's down here at Florida Southern, hopefully, do your check out the information about the camps that are provided. And if you're able to get down here and attend those camps, you're able to get check out the campus, step foot here, work directly with the coaches and coaching staff. And maybe sometimes you even get to meet the current team players that are here. And that way that allows us to work with you and just get to know you a little bit quicker, and you're kind of already here on campus. So camps and definitely recruiting emails are two best ways, I think, to promote yourself as far as athletics goes.
Alrighty. There's a couple of ones in here.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and answer those two questions.
Yeah, so I know we answered what is the best way to email coaches. What about when you don't hear back from a coach? Yes. What advice do you have?
Yeah, that's a great question. So certainly, and I know I am guilty of this, as so every other coach I've ever met is things just kind of slip through the cracks. But if there's a school that you are really adamant about and you really want to attend and you're really trying to catch their attention, I would certainly say it's okay to be a little bit persistent, right? So go ahead and send maybe another email and just say, hey, I'm following up. Not sure if you saw my first one. That's totally okay. I get those all the time. And sometimes I need that to be like, oh, let me go back and check this kid. And there it is. So certainly feel free to be persistent. The other advice I would have is a lot of times coaches, office phones are on the kind of like their roster page. And that's a way to just kind of call them if they're in the office and get them on the phone. I know when we have a student athlete that I'm really interested in, I always try to get on the phone right away with that player, just to kind of just be able to just communicate a little easier and have a, not face-to-face, but an easier form of, communication there. So feel free to call. And then, sometimes if you still don't hear back, it may be okay to wait a little bit of time and then maybe send your schedule. If you have a tournament coming up and you haven't still heard back, feel free to send your schedule of an upcoming event you may have, so that you're still kind of dropping emails in their inbox. That's the best I can say. But certainly if doing like a follow-up email, if time has gone by and you haven't heard back, go ahead and say, still here, any chance you got my email? And 9 times out of 10, I will respond to that one if I haven't to the first, absolutely. And then I see the other question there, Carla, asking what you should include in your resume. So it's okay to kind of talk yourself up a little bit in your email. So if you have some accolades that you may have acquired over your high school or club seasons, go ahead and throw that in. I think that's kind of fun and cool to look at. If you are, maybe a multi-sport athlete and you play other sports, you can throw that information in your email as well. But really, just like I said before, kind of a rundown of where you're from, what position you play. And then the biggest thing aside from those are any game film or highlight film, so that we can see as coaches what the athlete brings. So.
You see all the different sports on there? We got a lot of them. But what advice and best practices do you have for prospective student athletes during the recruitment scouting process? And due to COVID-19, athletes cannot have camps, tryouts, or have unofficial or official visits, which may be different here. What advice can you give athletes during these tough times?
Yeah, so COVID has definitely been a whirlwind for lots of coaches as far as the recruiting process goes. The biggest thing, and again, I keep repeating myself, I apologize, but just sending that film. So if we can't either bring you here on campus, or a coach can't bring you somewhere on campus in person and try you out or have you play with a team just because of this, of COVID, I actually got an email last week from a player, and she called it, what did she call it? Quarantine gym time or something, and she was able to get in with just a coach of hers back home and had the camera going, recording, and that was as close as we could get to seeing a live play. That's the next best thing I can encourage these athletes to try to do. Again, staying socially distant, wearing the mask, kind of following all the guidelines as best as you can. And then any advice or practices during the recruitment and scouting process is, I know if there is a big tournament you're potentially going to attend, or you have a recruiting combine or something like that coming up, it's always okay to remind the schools that are kind of on your list of where you're interested in and really adamant about going, to just give them a reminder of, hey, I'm going to be at this tournament this upcoming weekend. I'm on, court 32 and I play at these times. Those are things that I would encourage, and that I really appreciate coming from student athletes that we are recruiting. So it just helps that coach out. If you can make their life a little easier, I certainly think the coach would appreciate that 100%. So just stay as best as you can, stay in communication with these coaches during these times, and just keep asking questions. I get asked all the time, when can I come on a visit? When can I come try out? And, as much as I want to say now, the next best thing I can do with that athlete is just be honest and just kind of keep them in the loop. And so feel free to ask questions of the coaches and just try to stay in communication as best as you can during these kind of different times. So.
Yeah. Thank you. I wanted to note something that may be more unique to Florida Southern, since each school has something different going on. We have a low density setup on campus. So our first timers are here, and then certain specialized groups are here. So we are doing in-person instruction for a lot of our students because of us being able to have smaller settings. So again, Coach, you guys are having some form of practice right now, right?
Yes, we are currently at the moment. We're kind of following certain phases set by our athletic training staff. But we have entered phase 2 yesterday, which was a big deal for us. So now we can up the numbers a little bit more and not just be doing individual type training, it's larger groups. So yes, the kids that are here on campus are training with us right now.
Yes. And just so you all know, I know that there's certain restrictions in certain areas, but we are having visits on our campus right now. There are small groups, walking tours that we're doing. And so you are more than welcome to visit if you are able to. And I know we threw a lot of information at you, but I have my contact information on here, and feel free to reach out. Our application is free. We are on Common App, Coalition app, Florida Southern, we have our own app, and they're all free. And right now we are test optional for admission to college, and for merit-based scholarships, we would still review you for that. I think that admissions and athletics works pretty well together as far as our communication goes when a student is interested. And so some students who may not be getting a full scholarship are able to combine a merit-based scholarship with an athletic one, and that's what I normally call stacking. So I think that it's still something to consider, where your education at a small private school that is really strong in their academics and in their athletics can still be very cost effective for you all. So I put a couple of what our student profile looks like, but this is our average for all of our students. And so my international student population can be a little bit different. And I really look at the curriculum in your specific province, wherever you guys are at, and look at what is considered competitive there, where we may be looking at a 3.7 GPA and not necessarily know what that means in our area. But no worries, I do work with you guys on that. And the really cool thing I think with us in admissions is that you kind of have your one person that you go to throughout the entire process. I help you guys with the visa process, and if you're flying by yourself over here, either if you're in athletics, and either a coach will come pick you up, or I'll come pick you up from the airport. Make sure that you're all settled into your room and you have everything that you need. So it's really personable, and we try to just emphasize that from the very beginning, because that is the setup here at Florida Southern, where a lot of us will check in with you all and make sure that you guys are thriving. And then at any point when you want to let go, and you feel all good, then we let you do what you want here and to grow. So I have a couple things on here if you want more information. Again, email, text, call, and I also have a Calendly where you can schedule a longer appointment. And we have some QR codes here where you can get some general admissions information or set up for a virtual visit if you're not able to come through. We have some really cool videos that we were able to get set up with drones and all the fun stuff.
Carla, if you don't mind, I'll also echo what you said earlier. I've worked at a couple of universities, and what admissions does here is incredible. The tours are so informational. Like they just keep you engaged all the time. Doesn't help that our campus is absolutely beautiful. But I think admissions does a really great job. So if you were able to get down here, down the Sunshine State, I would highly encourage you to check out the admissions tour. And then also what she said, kind of echoing, I know admissions does a great job working with the athletics directly. So we're very grateful for that. So I just wanted to echo that admissions does a wonderful job here.
Yes, thank you guys so much. For this part, I'm going to stop sharing, and I don't know if we have any questions, but we can definitely help with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a wonderful presentation. I think all our coaches, our admission staff, have been, it's been a long 2.5 days so far. Can you hear me? Sorry.
It's a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
Is it a little fuzzy? Okay. I'll keep this short. Coach Crowder, thank you so much for being here to support our Canadian student athletes. It's important, especially now because of COVID, and for those who are hopeful for 2021 recruits. It's a little tough, right? You're not able to go out there, see coaches, see campuses, get videos out there. So everything is virtual. It's just one, and that's the only thing we can do now. Sorry, you were.
Yeah, no, it's actually funny. I've had, as far as you say virtual, I've had kids that we have been kind of on the fence with send me like Facebook Live videos, and then I'm actually watching it live because that's the next best thing we can do versus, getting a flight and go somewhere. So yes, with the current world that we're in right now, it's certainly 98% virtual.
Yeah, and that would just mean it's just more tough for coaches as well, because when it comes to going and seeing people in person, you're not bombarded with like a million notifications, right? But when you're on Facebook, when you're on Twitter, when you're on Instagram, and you have all these students just sending you a whole bunch of stuff to watch, and it's also defeating. And I think this is one thing I do want to point out, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it as well, Coach, is when a student emails a coach and they're not able to get a response back, it's very emotionally draining. Oh, wait, what? Am I not good enough, right? And that is not true. We've had over a dozen coaches that joined us the past couple of days, and the one thing that is very consistent with their message is that they get thousands of emails, and they're often embarrassed that they're not able to get back to each one of them. But one thing to note is first, to be very aware of the emails you're sending, and you're sending it to the appropriate coaches and universities, because that could be very embarrassing on a student athlete. And they'll be unknown. They send 50 emails a day, copying and pasting templates. Correct. They wouldn't know, oh wait, why aren't they getting back to us, right? Yeah. What's your advice for a student who is just brand new towards kind of the approach in emailing coaches, and more so, how should they take a lack of response from coaches, and what's your general kind of advice on that end?
Yeah, absolutely. So agree with what you said. Just make sure if especially if it's their first time, feel free, try to be kind of sharp with what you're sending and who you're sending it to. More often than not, I get Florida Southern University, and it's kind of like Florida Southern College. So did you copy and paste? So certainly things that you will catch my eye right away if you have obviously the correct names, and then the university or the college you're sending it to. So just be, pretty sharp with who you're sending that to. And then as far as when a college coach doesn't respond, which I again, firsthand will say I have been guilty of doing before, and it certainly does not speak to an athlete. So that's why I was kind of pushing, like, go ahead and send another follow-up of, hey, wasn't sure if you got it, because a coach could have read it on their phone, got to their office and forgot to respond, and then just got busy with other things. So as best as they can, I encourage that high school athlete to not get too defeated. Feel free to just kind of almost rise up and say, I'm gonna try one more time. As I tell my student athletes here, like, you might fail the first time we do a drill, but let's try it again. So the same thing of and that's why I was saying it's okay to be a little bit persistent, because it may be a kid that we need and we want, but I just didn't see the email, or it got slipped through the cracks. And so that's why I say, just feel free to follow up and say, just following up, which I get. And then I just said it yesterday. I went, oh, I forgot to respond. And then I followed up again due to her email of, hey, did you get my first one? And I certainly try not to allow that to happen too much, but us coaches aren't perfect, so it happens.
There's too much. I mean, we can go to the Gulf Beach. We can, in under an hour, and a little bit more of a drive, you can go over to the Atlantic and go surf. You can go 30 minutes up and go to the most magical place on earth.
I was going to say that's I've gotten two recruits
Disney World.
that close to Disney. So yeah.
Yeah, and if you're a Harry Potter fan, you know Universal is right there. And our students do normally have some sort of trip. I know this year we're not doing it, but we would normally do a bus load for Halloween Horror Nights and get our students to get scared out of their minds at Universal. And then it's okay because they get transportation back over here. But I mean, Central Florida is just a wonderful, like it's really easy to get over. You're near the water. You have really, I mean, no offense to the north side, but we do have a little bit more practice time available for our athletes just because like the weather is going to be a lot better being outdoors. I mean, Lakeland is beautiful. We're on a beautiful campus. We're ranked most beautiful in the country, if you're not just believing myself. We're designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, which is, I don't know how to explain it, but we're right in front of like this beautiful Lake Hollingsworth, where our water ski team, who like has, you know, some world champions representing there. And just, the morning is just beautiful, just coming in here.